Hi there, fellow readers. Today we are reading chapter 5 of The Lemonade War. It's been quite a little bit of time since we've read this, considering we had our long break, or long weekend, I should say. So let's recap what we read in chapter 4. All right, so chapter 4 was Megan's account of the whole event of her selling the lemonade and the lemonade stand and what happened in her mind as she saw Evan. I'm flipping back, trying to rejog my memory even, and I remember that Jesse was showing Megan how to do the math to figure out how much money they could potentially make if they sold all this lemonade. And so Megan says that some people like to draw pictures to understand math, and that is exactly true. Drawing pictures is a great problem-solving strategy, and that's what Megan made sense of because she understood Jesse's math, and she was really impressed by how much math she knew, considering she was technically a second grader. Then it ends with the neighbor, Mrs. Polly. She asked for 12 cups at the exact moment Evan had rounded the corner and saw the lemonade stand. And Jesse had felt so good and so excited that Evan was going to come help. But in fact, he was not. He was just figuring out why he didn't have any business anymore. All right, so chapter 5, competition. We have another definition for competition. Rivalry in the marketplace. Ooh. Dinner that night at the Truskys was quiet, so the explosion that followed seemed especially loud. It was Jesse's turn to clear and scrape the dishes. Evan's turn was to wash and stack. Evan looked at the pile of dirty plates on his left. Jessie was ahead. She was always ahead when it was her turn to clear, but tonight it felt like she was taunting him. To Evan, every plate scraping sounded like, "You can't keep up, you can't keep up." Evan was scrubbing the casserole pan when Jessie stacked the last dirty dish by his elbow. Then she stuck her hands under the faucet to rinse out, without even saying "excuse me," and shook her head, practically right in Evan's face. "So, how much money did you make?" Let's pause there for a moment and think. So we heard Jesse's account of what happened, and it was totally opposite of what Evan thought. Evan thought she was being on purpose, trying to get at him, but Jesse was just trying to make him believe that she was able to hang out with the fourth graders. And when she smiled at him, Evan thought she was smirking at him and laughing at him. So there's kind of very different viewpoints here. So I'm curious, what do you think the viewpoint is? Do you think Jesse's intentionally trying to do this to Evan, or do you think it's Evan's mind that's creating this problem for himself? That was it. He couldn't hold it any longer. "Why'd you do it, huh? Why'd you have to ruin the one thing I had going?" For a second, Evan even wasn't sure if it meant the lemonade stand or Megan Moriarty. In the mixed-up way, he meant both. And there was no way he was going to tell Jessie that after paying back his mother for the 4 cans of lemonade, 1 can of grape juice, and 1 bottle of ginger ale, she'd been pretty irritated when she came down from the office, and there wasn't a single cold drink in the house. We had walked away with $2.11. On top of that, he was pretty sure Scott had kept a $5 bill they'd earned. Well, what was Evan supposed to do? Ask Scott to turn in his pockets inside out? Evan kept track of the sales, so he couldn't be sure. "I do it? Why'd you do it? Why'd you invite that jerk over for a lemonade stand?" shouted Jessie. "And how come you wouldn't let me play? You're the one who's being so mean." "You're such a show-off," said Evan. You always have to let everyone know that you're the smart one." "I wasn't showing off. I was just trying to have a little fun. Is that against the law? You won't do a lemonade stand with me, then I won't do a lemonade stand with you. I'll do one with my friend Megan instead." "You cannot be friends with her. You cannot be her friend," shouted Evan. "Why not?" "Because you're a little kid and don't even belong in the 4th grade. And because you're just an annoying show-off, and that's why because you're an annoying show-off, and That's why you are a pest." The words felt like disgusting spiders running out of his mouth. They were horrible, but it felt so good to get rid of them. Then Evan saw Jessie's lip tremble. Uh-oh, Jessie was a howler. She didn't cry often, and she didn't cry long, but when she did, it was loud. Mom would come down from her office. Evan would catch the blame. Unfair. But Jessie didn't let loose. Instead, she stood as tall as her runty height would allow and said, "Megan likes me. She invited me over to her house tomorrow. We're going to make another lemonade stand and earn twice as what we did today." Oh, that was it. She was going to ruin everything. Show him up right in front of Megan, even before the school year started. Make Megan think he was just some stupid loser who couldn't even beat out his baby sister at a lemonade stand. Evan boiled over. "I wouldn't count on it," he said. And Evan said, "I'm going to have a lemonade stand every day until school starts, and I'm going to earn $100 by the end of the summer. Enough for an iPod." "Oh, please, like you could even do that if you wanted to," said Jessie. "Megan and I have already made $12 each day. We could have $100 just like that, with a snap of a finger." "And then what?" said Evan. "You'd lock it up in your lockbox and save it till you were 50 years old. You're the biggest loser on this planet." Jessie stiffened up. Her mouth made a funny O, and then she put her hand on her hip and smirked at Evan. "For your information, I'm going to make a $100 donation to charity." Evan snorted. "Yeah, right. What charity?" There was a long pause, and then Jessie said, said, as smooth as whipped cream, "The Animal Rescue League. Megan and I talked about it yesterday." "You don't even like animals," said Evan. "Everybody likes animals," shouted Jessie, "and I'm going to give them $100, so you can't ever call me a loser again." "I hope I never have to talk to you again," shouted Evan. "Hey!" a sharp voice called from up the stairs. Mrs. Tresky had a pencil stuck in her hair and a worried look on her face. "I could hear you two all the way up in the attic, with the air conditioner on high. What is up?" Evan looked at Jessie, and Jessie looked at Evan. They had taken a vow. Ever since Dad had gone, they had vowed not to fight in front of Mom. It made her sad, sadder even than when Dad left. "Nothing," said Evan. "Nothing," said Jessie. Mrs. Tresky looked at the two of them. "Come on, out with it. What are you two yelling about?" "It wasn't a fight, Mom," said Evan. "We were just joking around." "Yeah," said Jessie. "We're goofing off. Sorry we got you out of your office." Mrs. Tresky looked at both of them with laser eyes. Jessie hung the dish towel on the oven handle and fiddled with it until it was perfectly straight. Evan bent over the casserole pan and scrubbed as if his life depended on it. He scrubbed so hard his elbow bumped the fruit bowl, and a cloud of fruit flies rose into the air and then settled back down. Oh gosh, said Mrs. Tresky. "Would you look at those fruit flies?" Her shoulders slumped. "All right, well, I'm going back up. Can you guys handle showers and reading, and I'll be down to tuck you in and turn off the lights?" "Sure, Mom," said Jessie. "No problem," said Evan. Mrs. Tresky disappeared upstairs. Jessie turned to Evan and the sink. "Let's make a bet," she said. "Whoever earns $100 wins, and the loser has to give all their earnings to the winner." Evan shook his head. "Not fair. You've already got money saved up." "That money doesn't count," said Jessie. "We'll start with today's earnings, and that's all got to be from selling lemonade. No mowing lawns or sweeping out the garage or anything else." "Aw, what if neither of us can make $100?" said Evan, not liking the sound of this deal. "Then whoever makes the closest to 100 wins, and even if we both make over 100, whoever makes the most money will win the bet." "When do we count the money up?" said Evan. Jessie thought about that. "Sunday night, right before the fireworks." She looked straight at Evan. "Huh, what do you say?" Evan didn't like bets. He really wasn't in that way of competition. He loved to play basketball and always gave it his all, but winning or losing, it didn't make much difference to him. He just liked to play. But this was different. This mattered if he didn't beat Jessie at his bet. If he couldn't win against his little sister in a lemonade war, then Evan thought the school year was stretching out in front of him. It was all over. He might as well just give up on everything right now. "It's a bet. $100 by Sunday night. Winner takes all. He shook hands over the sink, dried them on a dish towel, and gave Jesse the most menacing look. You better hope you win, said Jesse. And that is the end of chapter 5. All right. Make sure you fill out that Google form and give me some of your thoughts about what you thought of our chapter 5 today. I'm really eager to see what you think of it and what you think might happen in chapter 6.